Acid Nerve's Death's Door is proof that the future of video game design is minimalism. Since streaming for the last year over on Twitch, I've played more games than I would have on my own, and that's really helped me be able to articulate what I enjoy in a game, and what I don't enjoy. What happened? Before we get into the video essay, I just wanted to jump in here and remind you to subscribe and like the video for more content like this every single month. It's free and really helps the channel grow. Thank you so much. So when I tried to think of my favorite game of the year, I really had a lot to choose from. Was it going to be a grand adventure or something a bit more quaint? Would it be a game that made me question my moral compass? Or one that was mindless, action-packed fun? Or would it be the one that presented the most satisfying challenge? Well, my choice for Game of the Year checks all those boxes, and then some. And I think that's because it shows that through all the bloated AAA noise of the past few years, the future of video game design is minimalism. After their development of Titan Souls, the two-person dev team at Acid Nerve wanted to make something a bit bigger and more ambitious with a fully 3D art style. Their initial 2015 release got a lot of praise for its combat flow and the scale of its bombastic boss fights. Rightfully so. And taking those ideas and adding onto them wasn't a tall order for Mark and Andrew. Folding their previous successes in with inspirations like Dark Souls, the Legend of Zelda series, and Studio Ghibli films, Death's Door emerges with its unique identity and style. Death's Door first caught my attention through that very specific style, with a promotional clip of a boss fight. This boss fight. I mean, you're playing as a crow with a pink neon sword going up against a sentient laser church with the tiniest feet you've ever seen. Sign me up. It looked challenging while not taking itself too seriously. But most importantly, it looked really, really fun. Sometimes I forget that video games' main purpose is to be exactly that. The amount of times I bashed my head against a wall to overcome a colossal challenge, or gritted my teeth to the gums because of some nonsense control scheme, or put up with really bland gameplay for an okay story. There's a reason we refer to playing video games as playing. All 2021 indie video games are inherently a bit of a miracle already. With the world being so unpredictable, being able to navigate that while also finishing a years-long development process is impressive, to say the least. But making a wildly polished game that remains focused is not something most games released this year can claim. I've heard a lot of comparisons with this game and Dark Souls, which makes sense considering this game focuses on collecting souls, and their previous work literally has souls in the title. You can't wear your inspirations on your sleeve any clearer than that. And while I see certain things here and there that could definitely be inspired by From Software's classic, Death's Door, in many ways, does Dark Souls-isms better than Dark Souls. And my hot takes on that game are getting their very own video essay. Don't you worry. For example, Death's Door manages to be challenging and fair while, explaining the mechanics of the game to you and having controls that feel responsive. Imagine that. This is a great example of how focused, minimalist design helps Death's Door really succeed. Like we see in Abzu or Celeste, when video games have a clear and focused goal, creating a control scheme that enriches that experience is much easier. Towards the end of a lot of games, it's really easy to forget which buttons do what in the heat of the moment. In Ori and the Blind Forest, for example, there are sequences that require way too many simultaneous button inputs. A lot of players just walk away from those moments feeling really frustrated. And is that what we want? In Death's Door, while there are upgrades, the controls stay the same, never growing beyond what was taught at the outset in order to remain accessible. Even the skill trees we get in Death's Door are minimalist in their design. Honestly, I do like a complex skill tree system or an upgrade system that lets you create the build that you want to play. But one advantage to minimalist game design every inclusion only enhances the core gameplay. So in this game, having a stripped down set of upgrades makes the most sense. This makes combat feel smooth and consistent, while not sacrificing the feeling of impact. Look at that screen shake after each hit, which you can adjust if you want. I took it down a couple of notches, I won't lie. It's the details that put Death's Door at the top of my list for the year. Little touches that just make a game feel good to play. Little things add up to make your gameplay experience either great or not so great. The more video games I play, I realize just how important the details of controls feeling good is to my overall enjoyment of a game. To be honest though, one of my favorite things about the game is the art style, which again goes with that idea of minimalism without being flat. Because the medium is such a visual one, good visuals are one of the most important parts of the video game experience for me. And I don't mean 4K 60 FPS realism, uncanny valley type graphics. I mean a unique, eye-catching art style. If I'm going to be looking at a game for hours upon hours, I want it to be something visually remarkable. Even though sometimes a game with a great art style ends up hollow, when there's great gameplay to back it up, I'm all for it. When you look at the concept art of Death's Door, you can see the evolution from previous games manifesting in the art here. A lot of the color palettes, enemy designs, and environments actually look to be heavily inspired by Titan Souls, which is a choice I can't begrudge the creators for. In interviews, they've stated how much they enjoy improving past concepts and ideas through iterating as they get better at their craft. But this time around, with the help of 3D modelers, they wanted to be a bit more imaginative with the visual concepts they used previously. Acid Nerve are going for something colorful with exaggerated proportions, like a macabre fairy tale, like Miyazaki meets Miyazaki, with a Supergiant Games flourish. That dark whimsy carries through every part of the game, from art to writing, while the choice to mostly remove detailed textures brings the style back towards the focus of minimalism that Death's Door nails so well. A lot of games get lost by adding as many mechanics as possible, to give the player an endless amount of diversions to dive into. I love a game like Hades, but like we talked about in my first video essay, there are just a lot of unnecessary features like the fishing minigame that don't add a lot to the overall game's experience. Why is this here? You can completely ignore it if you want to, and that kind of tells you something about the importance of that mechanic. AAA open worlds suffer from the same problem most of the time. Just a lot of fluff for the sake of having it to pad out the game time. Cutting out that feature bloat creates a streamlined game that still has a lot of great features. It may be a shorter game as a result, but I'll take a shorter experience that I actually finish over another 100+ hour video game that I'll only half finish. All of the features that do remain in these minimalist designs are there to help support what's already great about the rest of the game, rather than distracting from it. With this approach of putting the game together, the 2-person dev team at Acid Nerve also kept the workload manageable. When a game has fewer features, the creators can dedicate much more time to polishing each of them. The time spent on coding that random base building feature could have been used to fine-tune endless glitches in Fallout 4. In all the hours I've put into Death's Door by now, I haven't seen one major bug, which may be just luck on my part, to be fair. But it may also be down to keeping the scale of everything manageable for the team. 2021 was quite the year for video games, huh? We had a lot of highs, but also lots and lots of lows. I'm really excited to see what 2022 has in store for us, though. Looks like there are endless great games to put on our Steam wishlist, huh? I'm excited. Hey there! Thank you for watching the video essay. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and click the like button and subscribe to the channel for new content like this every single month. It really helps the channel grow, and I spend 40+ hours on these videos every single month, so I would really appreciate it. I'd love to hear what your Game of the Year 2021 is, though. Leave it in the comments below. And, of course, a huge thank you to Voxamandius, Mumpow, Dear Papaya, and Actual Folkboy. who are my monthly supporters over on my Ko-fi. If you'd like to help make future videos possible too, go over and become a member for as little as $4 a month for some behind the scenes looks at future videos, polls to help decide on future content, and of course, get your own personal thank you at the end of each of these video essays. Anyway, I'll see you in next month's video essay. Until then, bye!